To the Friesman clock.
Let's go 8 minutes just so we have a couple extra seconds.
Aren't you jealous you don't have a clock made that for you?
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Order. Do we have any citizens or public comments?
Everybody looks at Cheryl.
I'm just waiting.
Out of order.
Not officially.
Put her out of here.
Order.
Giggling is not a comment.
That's not the usual response we get, but nevertheless.
This is your last meeting, Your Honor.
We're going to test you.
Welcome, everybody. Consideration of approval of the agenda.
So moved.
As amended? Oh, so moved. Second. I thought Cheryl amended it.
Oh. Clerk will call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Okay, the agenda is approved as submitted. Consideration of approval of the minutes of the November 27 and December 4 and December 11 meetings. Any discussion or questions?
So moved.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
The minutes of the November 27 and December 4 and December 11 meetings are approved. Consideration of approval of the consent calendar. Any questions regarding the consent calendar?
Oh, it's so moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Do I ask Delane or no? Friesman? We're approving the consent calendar. Delane?
I did look at it.
You did look at it? Okay. Friesman, aye. Hammond?
Aye.
Malero?
Aye.
Star?
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Consent calendar is approved as submitted. Business of the mayor. The only thing I wanted to do is, well, I did have some materials. I think I've mentioned this before. The disaster preparedness folks have circulated this. Did everybody on the council get one of these announcements that she's looking for people to participate in some trainings and so on? You know what I'm talking about, City Administrator?
Yes, I believe so, but I don't know that the council all received copies of that.
I don't
So maybe we should circulate that to the council in case they're interested in participating in that training.
You're talking for the CERT training?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got that by email. So-
Yeah, I was thinking that you may have had it, but nevertheless, I didn't want to leave you out of the loop. The only other thing is I have been in my in the last week or two going to meetings, which is what I do a lot of anyhow. Just so you're aware, because these are things that probably will carry on, and I will probably have talked with incoming Mayor Andrews about my continuing to do some of the outside activities, at least at the beginning of his term. This would give you an idea of where I'm still doing. The NIACOG Executive Committee, I met with them, and there's some fairly strong possibility that I would continue on with that. That requires approval by the NIACOG board in January, but that's where we're at on that one. There's a new group being formed and we had a conference call with the Watershed Management Authorities of Iowa. It was an organizational meeting, and by odd happenstance, I got elected president of that particular group. And so we're going to be in the process of setting that up. It's important in the sense that these watershed authorities are going to be, is something the state really needs to do to organize itself to deal with water quality issues over and above just the local regional efforts. And speaking of those, there was on that same day an Upper Cedar Watershed Management Improvement Authority meeting here, and I'm on that group, and as well as the alternate, the city administrator, who gave a presentation of a couple of the projects that the council has been helping to support. There also was a Region 2 Workforce Development Board meeting. I mention that only because that particular area, I've been on that for a long time, but I don't think the elected officials are going to continue on. There's some issues because of changes in the federal legislation. And what's happening is, to add to the change that's going on, they're talking about consolidating a series of these, or a group of these areas that have made up these workforce development efforts, and reducing them down from 16 to as few as 2 and as many as 4. So there's a lot of back and forth. I assume one way or another, Dean and I will have to just sort of keep in contact to see where that's all going to end up, because that it was not clear from the meeting that we held in December. I also went to the NMON, the Papa John, and SBDC Advisory Board. That doesn't require any voting. It's something that I've been doing off and on for quite a length of time. It has to do with economic development. So it's not part of the mayor. It's not something the mayor gets appointed to. So those were the things I was attending, and also it sort of gives you a little bit of an explanation as to what we've been talking about doing. Any questions about any and all of that? Okay, consideration of a request from the Charles City Chamber of Commerce for use of city property for 2018 Party in the Park events, Charles City Whitewater Challenge event, and the Barbecue Challenge event. Discussion. And he's up at the mic, ready to go.
Ready to go. Good evening. Community Development Director Mark Wicks. I'm here on behalf of both the Chamber and Community Revitalization. Since we got all our holiday decorations up for the season, it's now time to think warm thoughts and what's going on this summer. Party in the Park Committee has set their dates. They would like to ask the city for permission to use Central Park and the adjacent streets, as we have done for the past 15 years. This will be our 16th year now. We are moving things back a little bit. We're getting off of Memorial Day weekend this year. We're proposing June 1st, 15th, and 29th, July 13th, and August 3rd is the dates for this year's Party in the Park. And we're asking, do you want to do these all together, or do you want to do them individually as far as the different events?
I think we can probably do them all together,
Okay.
unless there's some concern on the part of the council.
Pretty much the same thing, so I'd say we do them together.
That's fine. 4th of July committee this year is looking at, as far as, we'll have things going on throughout the weekend. We're working kind of along with the Party in the Park committee. There'll be a Party in the Park on July 29th, the Friday before the 4th of July weekend. 4th of July is in the middle of the week this year, so we're requesting use of Central Park on July 3rd and July 4th, same as before. July 3rd would be Kids Day and the Uncle Sam Jam that night. July 4th will be our Independence Day activities in the park as usual. And then Whitewater Weekend and Charles City Barbecue Challenge, those are held in conjunction with each other on the same day along the riverfront, and it's been moved back a week this year due to some conflicting events involving our paddlers, and we are asking for use of the property on Saturday, June 23rd. Happy to answer any questions you have for any of those events.
As far as street closings and everything, it all looks pretty much the same to me, Mark.
It's all the same. We may be asking for a little bit more, depending on what the 4th of July committee comes up with. They're still looking at entertainment ideas. They may do something similar to what Ragbri did with the stage set up there on the intersection, but otherwise it'd be the same.
And you'll work with Hugh as far as street closings and all that stuff, so I'd so move.
Second.
Any further discussion or questions? This has been a sort of the anchor for our various activities and entertainments, so.
We like to
and
work hard and play hard, and Charles
that's-
said he said.
That's right. And we've built quite a series of events, so.
So, thank you.
Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond,
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
The request is granted. Consideration of a motion accepting donation of properties at 1406 and 1408 Clarke Street. Discussion.
We have been approached by the Chamberlains who own these two properties about accepting these as a donation. They are contiguous to our current park property over there on Clarke Street. They went to the park board with it to see if they would be willing to accept this as added park facilities. It's already been cleared off. There is some brush and stuff there, but there's no buildings or anything. They are open lots. They were part of the flood buyout program, so there won't be able to be anything built on them, so they will remain open areas. So we went ahead, the park board said, yep, that would be a great idea, so they did not want any cost to them, but they wanted it done by the end of the year. So we asked them to find their abstracts. They couldn't find them, so we had to bring them up to date. Brad's been working on this real hard. He worked with Jim Davis and such to get everything done. We had to have Todd Pritchard look at it on the Chamberlain's behalf just to make sure it was all, kosher. So that is all done, and we have the deed ready to go, and we will get that hopefully all done by the end of the year as per their request. So we will be adding on a little bit of area over there. And I don't know, would it be possible, Steve, to add this on, because the disc golf course is there. I don't know if that would be a possibility to expand onto these areas. That I don't know, but park board thought it'd be good.
Out of bounds rough area, maybe.
Yeah, there you go. Put a water hazard in there or something, but,
Maybe room for horseshoe pits or something, I don't know.
oh yeah.
Might be room
Oh
for
yeah,
something.
horseshoe pits might not be a bad idea to move them up there, but anyway, the paperwork's all ready to go, so now we just got to get everything executed, so. Anything to add, Brad, or?
No, we reviewed the abstract and there weren't any title issues or anything of concern. So Todd prepared the deed on behalf of the sellers, and I think they're working on getting that signed. And I think Trudy pointed out what the estimated costs were.
Oh,
So staff is recommending that we accept the donation and pay the costs associated with the transfer.
This land is primarily between the IC grounds and Clarke Street, is that right? Is that what I'm thinking of?
Yeah, there's kind of a wooded area there.
Right.
Basically that, and then there's a lot there that did have a house on it at one point. I think it burnt down at one point.
Okay.
That's all, like Trudy says, it's all cleared off.
Further discussion or questions?
I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk will call the roll.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
The donation is accepted, and we'll proceed with taking the necessary steps to complete it. Consideration of Resolution 132-17, appointing Brad Schloter as city attorney. Any last words? Change your mind?
Him or me? No. No. As I've mentioned, the last couple of years, Ralph has been grooming Brad to ultimately, succeed him as city attorney potentially. So Brad's been getting more and more involved, even ever since I've gotten here, which is closing in on 4 years. But really, the last year, Brad has taken over that role as the city attorney, more or less, and Ralph's been there in a supportive role. So in speaking with Brad here a few weeks ago, I asked him about his interest in possibly being the city attorney, and he was certainly interested, and Ralph is ready to make that official change. So what we'd like to do tonight is make it official and approve the resolution to appoint Brad Schloter as the city attorney. I know we've got a sample agreement for legal services in here. This is the same one that we've had with Ralph for at least the last couple of years, where there's a $3,000 retainer. Say we for council regular meetings and special meetings. So easy math: if we have 30 meetings, that's about $100 a meeting, and then we pay $140 an hourly rate which I think comparatively speaking from communities I see, that's a pretty fair rate. So this is what we're looking at initially for agreement services for Brad to become city attorney. So entertain any thought or discussion on it.
I would just add I've appreciated the opportunity to work with staff and council so far. I've kept Ralph involved, and as a practical matter, I'm not sure that a whole lot would change. He's still in the office on a regular basis, and I still talk to him on almost a daily basis about the things that come up. So I think Ralph's not going to be completely out of the picture immediately. He would still anticipate being involved, but he thought, given that he's taken a step back on everything else, that it was probably about time for him to do that with city work as well. And as Steve mentioned, I've been involved for about the past 4.5 years, and probably about the last 15 months. I've been handling all the day-to-day work, and Ralph's more or less just been acting in a supervisory capacity.
Further questions or discussion?
It's a good deal. I'd so move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Star.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Welcome officially aboard.
Yeah, good to have you, Brad.
You're appointed.
You can get your name plate changed.
Exactly. It's on my list of things to do, so.
Consideration of Resolution 133-17, accepting the Victory Park project and authorizing final payment. Discussion.
Well, Building and Grounds, they've completed the construction of the Victory Park improvements in substantial compliance with contract documents. The park improvements included sidewalks, plantings, benches, irregular rock walls, and other ground covers to enhance the new Victory Park, and also to complement the sculpture revival, which highlights the historic swinging bridge. Now, the project was let and awarded last fall, but there were delays in completing the sculptures, so that's what caused the delay in the park improvements. Now, if you remember, the original bid price was too high, so we made some scope changes and reduced some of the sidewalk that was to be constructed. And we eventually awarded a contract to Building and Grounds in the amount of $54,089. We actually came in under budget with a total cost of $52,973. So we would recommend approval of Resolution 133-17, accepting the Victory Park improvements and authorizing final payment to Building and Grounds.
Just as a matter of clarification, who's to take care of those grounds as we move forward? Park and Rec, or who?
Yes, it's a city park.
Yeah, the portion where all the work was done was on the city park. City Improvement Association has the adjacent park beside it, which that was where some of that work was going to be done, but that was part of the work that was deleted, at least initially, from the project. So
We take care of the city improvement stuff anyway.
and we take care of the city improvement stuff anyway.
Bottom line, right, is
Sounds like Park and Rec's going to do it, Your Honor.
But is this going to be, maybe that's what you're saying, is this going to be one of the city improvement parks where they have people assigned to take care of the flowers and all that stuff, or is this just going to be all ours?
This is going to be all ours, Jerry.
Okay.
Because where all the work was done was in our park area. But like Delane pointed out, even the CIA area that was going to be adjacent to it, that was part of the agreement in allowing us to do that. Any adjustments in the CIA area was the city was going to have to maintain it. But then we deleted it from at least the initial phase of the project. So either way, it's going to be ours on the behalf of us or ours on the behalf of them.
Okay, it'll be ours, yeah.
Further questions or discussion?
So move.
Second.
Clerk, call the roll.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Star.
Aye.
Resolution 133-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 134-17, accepting the First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project and authorizing final payment. Discussion.
Well, DeBose Concrete, they've completed the construction of the First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project in substantial compliance with the contract documents. The First Avenue Sidewalk Extension included the construction of approximately 1,100 lineal feet of sidewalk, and that was from G Street up to the bridge over the First Avenue Bridge over the Charlie Western Trail. The project also included removal and replacement of sections of driveways so that we could install new sidewalk through the driveway sections. The original bid price submitted by DeBose Concrete and the contract that was awarded to them was in the amount of $48,130. The project was completed a little bit less than that, about $500 less, for a total cost of $47,634.66. I do think this was a good project in completing that, making that sidewalk connection there along First Avenue. So I'd recommend approval of Resolution 13417, accepting the First Avenue Sidewalk Extension Project and authorizing final payment to DeBose Concrete.
Further discussion.
Similarly to when we continued the trail or extended the trail on Clarke Street, this was an area that we need to get people off the streets and they're walking, especially with the school. We got students that are walking in the street, and this is a project that needed to happen, and I'm glad it worked out. I'd so move.
I'll second that.
Other discussion or questions? Clerk, call the roll.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Resolution 134-17 is approved. Consideration of Resolution 135-17, adopting return to work policy. Discussion.
Yeah, this is our proposed policy on, in talking with our insurance carrier EMC. They've been working with us on potentially adopting a return to work policy. We have a policy in place. It's not as detailed as what this proposed policy is, and having this policy in place will really help us as far as streamlining that process and it being maybe a gold star for us in terms of when the insurance company takes a look at things that we're doing. So this return to work policy is made mainly for if somebody's injured at work or otherwise misses work, on how can we get that employee back to work in a safe, timely fashion. What can we have them do? And what you notice in here from our last discussion is we've had the department heads go through and just list off a number of different things that can be done in their various departments on a light duty basis. So if we do have somebody that's on their way to coming back from work, we've got a running list of different things we can do to have them come in and do. In addition to that, the state did mandate that we provide a transitional offer of employment letter to employees returning to work. That's now included in here under Appendix D, I believe. And Brad's had a chance to go through that, and we made a couple tweaks, but otherwise that's pretty much in the version you saw before, Appendix D. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to adopt this return to work policy, have this in place. We'll continue to fill in the transitional duties on some of the nuances there on how those work, but we'll have this up and running, and then the next step from this is to update our job descriptions that kind of tie into it as well. So this is kind of the next step in that progression.
Further discussion.
Is this something, Steve, that came up and was talked about as far as in the negotiations recently with our unions and stuff, or?
Well, I did speak with our labor attorney, Mike Galloway, about whether this return to work policy would have any impact based on our current contracts, and they said no.
Okay.
There's nothing in our contracts that would prohibit this.
Right.
So if we have somebody from a street department that wants to come back and we want to have them work in the admin office here a little bit, or vice versa, we have the ability to assign them in different places.
I think it's a good thing. I just didn't know if we had to have any kind of action by those groups on it or not,
No.
besides our taking action on it.
Nothing in the contract that would prohibit that.
Okay. I'd so move.
Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll.
Hammond.
Aye.
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Resolution 135-17 is approved. And at this point, I would yield to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd introduce resolution number 13617, which is to show some appreciation for our honorable mayor for the services to the city of Charles City. Would you like to come out up front, Jim and Trudy?
Oh, down here, you mean?
Down here. Down where you always...
Way down.
Yeah.
Where to go.
Or you always make everybody else go.
You know the routine, Jim.
No.
Executioner's Row.
I hope not.
You okay?
You okay?
Yeah.
Going out with a bang.
Need.
Evidence. Use your head.
Where would you like?
Right up here.
Want to grab the microphone there, Jerry?
I'm gonna get my microphone.
We're having a heck of a time.
There we go. Now, you know how this works. You got all the whereases in here. Okay.
I'm worried about that.
Okay. Resolution 13617. Whereas Jim Erb began his first term of office as mayor for the city of Charles City on January 1, 1996 through December 31 of 17. Whereas during his tenure in office, in addition to serving as mayor, he has served on various committees. And whereas Jim Erb's involvement as mayor enhanced and affirmed the collaborative spirit of many city efforts. And whereas the city council wishes to acknowledge the diligence and dedication with which Jim has represented the people of Charles City. Now therefore be it resolved that the council of the city of Charles City, on behalf of its citizens, do commend, honor, and express gratitude and appreciation to Jim for his years of outstanding and commendable service to the city. Be it therefore resolved that a copy of this resolution, with the seal of the city of Charles City affixed, shall be presented to Jim, and this resolution shall become a part of the proceedings of the City Council of Charles City. Approved this 18th day of December. Thank you, Jim.
All I can say is that this isn't as easy as we've made it look all these years.
It's not. It's not. It's hard work. And we also have a plaque that we would like to give you.
Thank you.
And thank you so much. And then I'm going to let Jerry do that.
And one more transfer of power here, Jim. The power has gone from City Hall to the home.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Cheryl, thank you.
Oh, no, it's all for him. Thank you.
Okay.
Better put this back up here.
I am going to sit right down and let the Mayor Pro Tem finish it up.
No.
There's not too much left to go.
Trudy, shouldn't we probably pass?
Practice.
Yes, we should.
Do you think we can really trust the Mayor Pro Tem to finish the meeting if he didn't do this in the right
Tell
order?
you what, I got a hold of it here, Delaney.
What was that?
We need to pass that resolution.
You
So.
kind of should have passed it before you did it.
What if we don't pass it?
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to.
Well, somebody would like to make a motion?
I'll so move.
Second.
Roll call?
Malero.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Yeager.
Yeah, aye.
Friesman.
Aye.
Hammond.
Aye.
I thought that would work best.
You were just waiting, weren't you, to see if anybody caught it?
Need a little extra pressure there, Jim, to get it done.
It's already coming off the track.
Okay, other business, any miscellaneous correspondence?
I did get a really nice thank you from Zoetis for their fire that they had out there. They were very, very pleased with the responses of the fire department, the police, all the emergency people, and they thanked us for making sure the damage was a lot less than what it could have been. So it was a really nice thank you, so you guys might want to
Nice.
read it. So it's very good.
Attorney's report?
At the last planning session, there was an item regarding a property that burned down and the city's potential interest in a demolition reserve. We were able to get that resolved without having to take any official action, which is why there's nothing on the agenda tonight.
That's super. Thank you.
Thank you, City Attorney Schloter. City Clerk's report.
There will be no meeting next week, the week of Christmas. City Hall is going to be closed December 25th to observe Christmas and January 1st for New Year's. The first meeting in 2018 will be Tuesday, January 2nd. Oh boy. Thank you, Mayor Erb.
Yep, thank you.
That's all I
Carol?
can. That's all I can say.
Go ahead.
January 28th, there will be a reception here from 3 to 6.
December 28th.
December. January, yeah.
Yeah.
December, that
Right.
day.
Okay.
December 28th.
Do we need to have her come up to the microphone and introduce herself before she...
You got to do it right.
Hey,
You
now
got to
wait a
do it
minute.
right.
The Mayor Pro Tem
Yeah, but
alleviates that
you're not
before.
doing the, you're
Thank
not doing it right.
Got to control the crowd there, Pro
You
Tem.
have to get in line, Friesman. All right, what time is that, 3 to 5 or something?
3 to 6, December
Okay.
28th.
Thank you,
I will
Sharon.
get. I will get something in the paper. So.
All right, I think on behalf of all the council, we really thank Jim for the many, many years of service.
I want to thank all of you for everything you've done to help me make it through all these years.
Does he have to stand up?
He really should, yeah.
He should know the process by now, you'd think.
Thank you, Jim.
Yeah, I just have had great support from everybody.
Good, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
One last thing from the crowd. Can I have all of you hold off before you leave so we can get a group picture,
Okay.
please?
Okay.
Down here, I think.
Okay, are our two citizens done now?
Yes.
Okay, motion to
All right,
adjourn.
the board commission, I gotta finish the agenda.
Man, just
People
trying to
will
get
get
out
all
of
over
here.
my case if I don't. Board commission committee reports. Oh, I gotta go back up to the administrator, too.
Yes.
It's all falling apart.
Surprised I haven't been corrected on that.
I was waiting until after the fact.
Okay, just real briefly,
Look, down there.
confirming the budget meeting schedule. I haven't heard from anybody that these dates and times don't work, so that's what we're going with.
Thank you.
I didn't know we had a choice, to
That's,
be
I,
honest.
was just, I was just doing what I was told.
Now you know, and now you know
Here's
the dates and times are
yes,
set.
sir.
Recycling totes started going out today, so be mindful of that. If you see it out front, pull it up towards your house or garage or wherever you choose to keep it. There is a flyer on the inside that shows directions, kind of gives an outline of the program if anybody's missed what's happening with the change and everything.
This will be the first they're hearing of it.
Yeah, well, that'll tell you, and it also tells you the dates of when the recycling will start for your neighborhood. We're going to be starting in April 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and then April 10th, 11th, and 12th will be the second week. So
They'll know not to use those totes until those days.
everything is described on the letter there. Yeah.
Keith's got a copy of it here, so if you want to take a peek at it.
Does it
Yeah.
also address in the areas where they don't have driveways and things, where those totes are supposed to be placed and
It
any
just
of those
says
types of items?
Totes should be placed curbside, either at your driveway at opposite ends or curbside within, try to have 4 feet between them.
Okay. I'm just, because that was something we talked about in the workshops, was where they will end up and how they will be handled, so.
Yep. So we will learn that as we go here.
And
on
there's,
some of them.
and there's already a property on 2nd Avenue that has a sign telling people not to park in front of his sidewalk so he can get his garbage out where it's supposed to be and be able to pick it up. So he's ahead of the game and ready to have people trained in before April comes.
By next fall, everybody will be trained on how to handle this.
Sounds about right. We talked about the mayor's reception on the 28th from 3 to 6. And then the last thing I have is just, I'm going to be out of the office next week, so Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody. That's all I have.
Thank you, Steve. Am I done now?
I think so.
Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Second.
You don't have to vote on that, right?
Go. No, you don't. You just say, yeah, well, it's fine.
Thank you, we're adjourned.
It's for me.
Pass that down then, Trudy.
You didn't get one in your tote, that's why you had yours tonight. They started delivering them and Dirk didn't have them. That's a good one, Dave.
I heard that, Dave.
I'm assuming we can tell you to take over the pro tem
They started delivering, what, they're delivering the totes?